Hey, this is a Eddy production. My guest today is the co-founder of Anghami. Anghami, of course, is a music streaming platform that recently became the first Arab tech company to be listed on the NASDAQ. In an industry dominated by powerful global players including Spotify and Deezer, this Lebanese startup went from humble beginnings in 2012 to being a publicly traded company that's now valued at $220 million. Please welcome one of the people behind this incredible story, Elie Habib. Hey, Elie.
Hello.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're so glad to have you. And I just want to say, it must feel really good. You guys were just listed on the NASDAQ. How does it feel?
Overwhelming, and I'm obviously proud. I'm proud from where we are, but at the same time, I'm overwhelmed because this is chapter 2 for us. It's not the end. It's just the beginning. There's still a lot to do.
You and I spoke a few years back. I know that you and Eddy Maroun came up with the idea for Anghami on a ski slope in Lebanon. And here we are, 8 years later. And as we said, Anghami is on the NASDAQ. How difficult has this first chapter been?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's nice to go back to remember those days, to remember that it all started on a whim and just something very vague and, out of a ski trip. I mean, probably the best thing I ever got out of a ski trip. But it took a lot, right? It's a roller coaster. It's been an ongoing roller coaster. I can't remember it's the ups or the downs. It just doesn't matter anymore. But it's us persevering after a big idea that we had, and realizing that we had to build a lot, and we had to learn how to build and fail while building. At the end, I mean, at the end of this chapter, it feels rewarding, but at the same time, I can't wait to keep on building and growing. I mean, that's what I'm good at.
Was there ever a point when you guys thought in this roller coaster, this doesn't look like it's going to work, so maybe we should just call it quits?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously that have been times, right? I mean, even from the get-go when we started, we were in love with what we were doing, but we did not have enough resources. And there was like a company that launched with the same target, with the same, with a better product at the time, and that had launched like a week before we launched, and we thought, oh my God, we should fall down, and clearly, not folding down and persevering paid. But that point, that thing, that feeling of, I should maybe quit or stop or whatever, give up, is something that came every several years. From one sort or another, because we're humans, right? I mean, we get tired sometimes, we focus and we try to inspire the team, and we try to get everybody aligned with our visions, with our goals. But, our goals were big, and getting big means that being a storyteller, being a chief storyteller, to keep reminding people of the story, and then become the chief reminding officer to keep reminding and reminding and reminding and making sure that everybody stays the course. But at one point, you realize that there's nobody reminding you or following up with you or helping you, because as a founder, I mean, me and Eddie, at the end, we could not have done it if we did not have each other. It's not poetic, it's real. Because when I failed, he picked me up, and vice versa. And I don't know how single founders do a company like that. I mean, some do, and that's kind of freaking amazing. But for us, we've had a lot of misses, a lot of things that we thought would work that in one way, then worked the different way. But at the end, what mattered for us was focusing and trying to take a vision, a small thing, and trying to make it work, and then validate it, and then build more and iterate, and be, against perfection. It's like kind of very weird, because you're taught when you're a child, when you're at school, when you're wherever, that you have to be perfect, that you have to be the first whatever, and perfection. And we realize that all of that does not work. I mean, perfection is the enemy of good, and good is the speed, right? So for us, we needed to be fast, we needed to iterate, we needed to validate idea after idea, and it was never about being perfect, but it was being first to market, first with users, first with artists, and and then build better version, and keep shedding skin after skin to be better. And that is an ongoing and a tiring job, but still something that we love.
Do you think there's a certain amount of luck in your journey, or do you attribute all of your success to strategy, implementation, and, as you said, pushing to be first and to continuously get better?
Honestly, I have very little ego left. So I mean, it's not just about, I mean, just me, right? Or us as a founding team. It's mostly a group work, a group effort. Luck must have played something, right? I might have played something very big at certain points and less at other points. But I'm pretty sure it's been with us. Sometimes it's bad luck and sometimes it's good luck, right? I mean, we've had the mix of both, but clearly being prepared and being and having a good product, a good team, a good positioning, and all of that must have gotten some kind of result. And it's I we owe it a lot to teaching the team, and just trying to inspire everybody around us to be a better version than us. So it's not just us, it's the team that have proven to us again and again and again and again that if we focus on something, and if we try to do better and iterate, we can eventually get to a place whereby we're very proud of what we have. And the I mean, I did not plan to do an IPO. I planned obviously to get to a better place and to ideally try to be independent as a company. And the IPO happened because we were ready, and because we were prepared, because we have proper governance and all of that. But that has been also, I mean, a mix of luck also.
Yes, I would like to know a little bit more about that. But clearly, you've poured your soul into this company. What are your days like, Elie? How many hours do you spend at the office on a typical day?
I mean, we're in COVID times, so honestly, office doesn't matter. Uh, I know that I haven't taken a break for a while. I mean, a good deserved long break. I've not done that for a while. So I think I have three kids, right? I mean, I have Ryan and Jad. Those are my you know biological kids, and then I have Anghami, which is a digital kid that I'm growing. So for me, there's no time when I'm a father, and there's no time when I'm working on Anghami or not. It's always in the back of my mind. I can't actually stop thinking about Anghami. I mean, clearly that's bad in terms of that so-called work-life balance and whatever. I mean, it's a harmony. It's not a balance, because that matters to me. My work matters to me. So I don't try to balance work as if I need to not be at work or whatever. I need to make sure that my life works well and my job works well, and whatever needs to be done, I have to do it. And ideally, my first instinct in work is to delegate, right? I can't be a bottleneck. So I have to delegate it to others, but I end up working a lot because I still have a lot to do, and I still have a lot of ideas, and I'm still creative. And maybe once I find myself working 4 or 5 hours a day, I'm probably gonna say that probably someone else should run Anghami. But for now, I'm pretty sure I work more than half a day on Anghami.
More than half a day.
More than half the day. Sorry.
So what do you do? Do you
Yeah.
mean 12 more than 12 hours, or do you mean like you work in the
Yeah.
morning, then you have lunch, and then you go play tennis?
No, no, no. That's a good one. No, no, I'm pretty sure that I get to points where I work more than 12 hours sometimes. That's not something I'm proud of, but that's something that I probably did over COVID times. I mean, this past year where I've been at home and whatever, and I'm a fan of reading. I'm not a fan of watching movies, for instance. I do watch. I used to be a movie buff like a really long time ago. I know about certain Netflix series because I hear people talking about them, but I have watched very little. So when I'm reading, when I'm learning, uh, that for me is work, right? And for me, this is something that actually gets me better at work. Because one particular thing that you need to know is like I've never been employed in my life. I've built companies after companies since graduating, or but I actually had my first company before I went to university, and then I built companies after companies until Anghami. So basically, for me, if I'm reading a book, because this is something I do daily, I read in the morning and I read at night. I mean, this is reading, but for me, it's learning. And this is, for me, relevant to my work, right? So I will be better at my work by actually learning from others people's expertise, other people's lives, other people's failures, and I learned that by reading books. So for me, it's like whether it's I'm reading or I'm networking or I don't know, I'm not coding anymore, thankfully, but I'm following up on Anghami and all of that. That goes within what I consider as work. Now, clearly, I try to do that 5 days a week, not 7 days a week. But yeah, my normal work day is long.
What book are you reading now?
Interesting point. I mean, it's like I keep reading lots of books. The last book that I read and I enjoyed a lot, and I brought to my team, I think I brought 8 copies, is the Reed Hastings books, No Rules Rules. It's an amazing book, and it talks about how Reed Hastings built the culture of Netflix. And so I don't watch Netflix, but I actually read about Netflix and how he started by creating something he calls he coined the term talent density. So talent density is an amazing thing, and it's very weird. That's like for me, it has been always about talent, and but I've never thought about it as talent density. But it's great when you get to read a book about someone that you admire and that inspires you and that you feel. I mean, we that Reed Hastings, the guy started by realizing that to create the culture of the company, he needed first to have people he can trust and they're smart, and then they can they're going to build skills on top of them. So we're different, but in certain point we realized that back when we started doing Anghami, we needed skills, but it weren't the kind of skills that I can pay for. I wasn't going to get people from Facebook or Google or wherever. So I thought we're going to bring people who are smart, who've been doing something relevant or and something in tech and whatever. So I brought multiple people at the time, but then what we realized is that the biggest problem we faced was unlearning. So unlearning became for us a bigger problem than actually learning. So for us we realized that we needed to work hard and to get those people to unlearn what they've been built over the past 10 or 15 years, whatever, depends on them, and then start from scratch. So for us, we figured it might be best if we start with people who don't have to unlearn, then go to graduate students, and get them to, work with them and teach them skills and, smart people, but teach them and grow them. And then you look right now at Anghami, most of the team in Anghami have never worked anything else. They've started working with us and we build their skills and we made them better and better. And a lot of that, I had to do it by simply learning from others how to run a company or run a team or build, because I've never learned that by doing, right? I never learned that, sorry, by being inflicted upon me other cultures. So I've learned all of that by doing my own culture and my own ideas about how should the company be and how I should work and how should I actually behave or actually, mentor my team and how I should actually invest in my team and get them to be the better version of us and get them to inspire them to not take our ideas and try to build our ideas because they're kind of sacred things, but actually get them to build upon our ideas and actually validate whether our ideas are good or not and test everything. And I'm proud to what we got because I ended up building a great team.
Yes, and books are a great resource for benefiting from other people's experience. And a lot of the world's, top leaders do spend a lot of, or read at least once every day and spend some time every day reading. But Anghami has some pretty stiff competition as a music streaming platform. You have companies like Spotify, Deezer. What's Anghami's edge?
Yeah, good question. So for me, honestly, it's neither of those are the competition. Let's be reasonable. We're in the Middle East. By competition, it's simple. There are three things: piracy, piracy, and piracy. So for us, I respect the competition and simply it validates that we're doing something right, right? But since the competition entered the Middle East, we've been growing at a faster rate than before. So that's great because at the end, what the competition does and what we're doing is simply educating and growing the pie, right? So it's not about whether the competition is eating up from my pie or vice versa. We're all first increasing the pie because still most of the people in the region get music from illegal pirated sources rather than from a legal streaming service, this legal music streaming service. So that is very important to start with. Second, we're honestly trying to do something that might look similar from afar, but we have a different vision. First, because we're from the region, because we're embedded in the region, we had to build stuff that the competition doesn't even, is never aware of and doesn't even think about. We built a payment network that connects 36 telcos across the region. We built them ourselves one by one. That enable people to pay and to pay to Anghami by telco. That is something that is kind of unique. That is something that nobody had to do or to build because it's only emerging markets have a different, behavior versus credit card and payment methods. Two, we had to build our artist platform. So most artists worldwide upload music to streaming services via their labels, like big major labels, and they have the tech infrastructure and all of that. In the region over here, there is no major label, and most of our work has, originally started by us actually digitizing CDs and content and whatever into Anghami, and by actually creating a platform to allow artists to upload their content directly to Anghami without labels. This is all unique. This has not happened, and no international music streaming service has a platform to allow artists to upload content directly. Then we started by actually creating content and working with artists and to increase the breadth of the catalog in the region. So for us, we've acted we've acted and will be acting way more into creating content. We created something called Anghami Originals, and we've built, I think, so far around 150 music tracks, but we intend to grow that number tenfold next year, right? We've be investing a lot in creating content. So for us, we have a vision that yes, we are the I don't know, the David and Goliath story. So yes, we're small relatively to the others. We have roughly 120 people. Some companies have 4,000 something working on their products. We don't think we're comparable because we're very different in terms of what we're trying to do. But at the same time, we're trying to build what we call Radio 2.0. What we call is a mix between, music, which is a core for us, but also providing ability, for anybody to create their own radio channel on Anghami and broadcast music as well as broadcast talk shows. And that podcast, we can be doing it live on Anghami, and we can, mix music into it, and you can have a channel. And all of that has been part of our original target, and when we started, is to create a platform that would allow people to connect over music, because we believe music is social. Music has always been social, and we've all discovered music with other people, by being in certain places, or by connecting with others, or by getting recommendation from others. It's always that has been the key for music discovery. And we believe most platforms have thought that music is a solo act, whereby you put your headphones, you sit at the corner, and all of that. That is great. That works in certain cases, but we believe there's much more to be done on music, and much more to be done on audio. For us, whenever someone is, whether it's listening to a podcast, or listening to music, or engaging with the ear, that channel, the ear, the audio, the power of audio has been something that we've been experimenting with and learning and doing a lot on it. And back into also creating our own advertising platform to be able to run audio ads and grow a lot of that. So there's a lot that we're doing that is unique for us, and some of it is obvious, some of it is not obvious, but that is part of our chapter 2, what we're building.
Yes, I know that your AI is really great. First of all, I use Anghami myself. I'm a big fan. I love the playlists to create. And I know that you have so many things that I haven't discovered yet. But would you say that Anghami has similar AI capabilities to the other platforms? And you just mentioned that you do unique stuff. How do you approach it in terms of making sure that you're competing with, companies that have access to so much talent and have such big teams working for them? How do you approach making sure that you do stay on top of the AI game?
Yeah, great. Great question. So basically, it's AI works only when you have data. AI is, that is key for us, right? Having data. So if I ask you what company in the Middle East have the most data on the music behavior of people over the past many years, I mean, that question is obvious. I mean, there is no other than us that have that data. We've been collecting over 10 billion streams the past year. Sorry, for the many years, right? And we collect now roughly over 60 million data points per day from users. So we've been building bit by bit, our data that is kind of unique to understand the behavior of people in Kuwait, or people in Sudan, or people in Beirut, or in Amman, or in Dubai, or in Riyadh. So that behavior and that data gathering that we have and we collected in terms of the behavior of the people is unique, and that enables us to understand what people in the region want to listen to, and how they listen to, and when do they listen to it, and what artists work and what artists don't work. Having data on music data of someone in LA or in Paris does not exactly correlate to someone who's in, as I said, whatever, in Amman or Beirut. The thing that we've been working hard on is working on our data and creating models that are kind of unique for the region. And we've been doing a lot of that on the Arabic music, which we've been specializing in, because over 50% of our user base listens the traffic, in terms of traffic, listens to Arabic music. And Arabic music comes in from just 1% of our catalog. So basically 1% of our catalog, which is the music, Arabic music, generates 50% of the traffic, which is kind of mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that we have 57 million tracks in Anghami, but 50% of the traffic is generated for roughly 500,000 tracks, which are Arabic. So for us, yeah, I mean, we can focus on all of the 57 million, but at the same time, we want to double, triple focus on the core that people care about in the region. And we know much more than anybody else about what they do and how we can build upon that. And clearly, we've not been excellent all of the times. We've had a lot of our failures, our mistakes, while building, while iterating, like I've told you earlier, like while iterating, you make tons of mistakes and then you make successes, right? So it's a cycle of building, failing, learning, and then succeeding. So and we managed to get better because we managed to accept failures and accept that, yeah, we made mistakes, but we got better.
So it sounds like Arabic content is kind of your edge or one of your main differentiators. I was gonna ask you about how you intend to grow your Arabic content now that you've crossed over into the U.S. On the NASDAQ. You have more resources to build Anghami, to invest into artists and content. How big do you think Arabic music can be compared to how big it is now in terms of being an industry?
Yeah, so we think Arabic music has a lot of potential in growing, right? Um, Only if people invest in it, if someone invests in it and gets much more artists being able to not make and meet, but actually grow and have sustainable careers out of music. The problem is simple. I mean, it's a supply and demand thing. It's a marketplace in terms of artists and users. If you look at the region, we're not blessed with a lot of artists that are actually creating and contributing to the ecosystem, and that's unfortunate. But until or unless someone invests into actually get the youth creating more music, get new artists coming up on the scene, while at the same time making sure that they can create a sustainable life, a sustainable well-being out of being an artist, then it won't work, right? So what we want to do is we want to invest in that ecosystem to grow that ecosystem, and by that even growing the pie for everyone. But that has been from inception what we wanted to do when we started Anghami, and we started asking people to subscribe, to pay for music. People said, oh my God, why am I going to pay for music? I mean, who pays for music? I mean, you must be dumb asking about that. And then when we told them that it's a recurrent fee, so every month you have to contribute to pay something, it was like, oh my God, you're a scam. You're taking money again and again from me. So that was education, and that is real, true stories. And for us right now is like, yes, we want to invest in music. We want to actually, why not have the next Despacito or whatever coming up from the Middle East? But to do that, you need people to really take, we have a big, large youth pyramid. I mean, in across the Middle East, right? We have a lot. The youth constitute a big percentage of the people in the region. So those people, are connected to music. They want to create music, but they never had the opportunity. Very few had the opportunity to participate in, let's say, TV shows or to create music and all of that, talent shows. You can't even remember a few people who've actually graduated and became successes out of that. But the point is, this is our culture. Arabic music is our culture. And as a Middle Eastern people, we need to invest in our culture and try to figure out how we can push our culture, how we can be, part of that culture and grow that culture. So yes, and by having the IPO, simply it's like giving us fuel. 4 times as much money that we've raised all over since inception. Right now, in June, 4 times as much fuel power to actually invest, to grow regionally, to grow on the diaspora level, to grow in our Radio 2.0 product, but also to grow in investing in content and to investing in the right type of content and helping artists build content based on our data, because we're gonna be able to tell artists based on a lot of what I spoke before on data points and all of that, all of that has been, in fact, understanding the music for the user's perspective. Now we want to take that understanding in those lessons and actually help artists create the right type of music, the right type of shows to actually grow, the pie, the entire pie, and grow Anghami while doing that.
So this merger that you did with Vista's media acquisition company, which is called a SPAC, that kind of company, can you explain why this had to happen in order for Anghami to be listed on the NASDAQ as a company based in the Middle East?
Yeah, right. So basically, there are ways to do an IPO, and as far as I know, there are three ways to do an IPO. It's like the traditional standard IPO listing, and then you have a direct type of listing, and then you have the SPAC listing. SPAC means special purpose acquisition company. Basically, it's a blank check company that raises money to actually bring a company public. So that's the merger you're talking about. So when you do a SPAC IPO, you have to merge with a SPAC company that has the ability to put you public. And so basically, you just have consider a SPAC or a SPAC IPO as an innovation and financing in growing companies. So we were like, we could have done another fundraise, a VC type of fundraise, a traditional one, but having the opportunity of having a SPAC IPO is much better because one, we conserve independence, right? So right now, Anghami didn't sell. We did not sell the company. We're on to chapter 2 by actually the company is public and the company can raise money, more and more money, and can tap into the capital markets of the US to get debt, to get more money and to grow, and at the same time try to grow the company to be $1 billion company in the next 3 years. So that is something that an IPO can allow you to do. If we actually had to continue with the VC route, we're going to be forced at one point in time to sell to another company. Doing an IPO allows us to, the company now is public, the VCs that had invested in us can actually sell and can exit at any point in time. And that allows us to literally control the future and still grow and hopefully, as I said, get it to $1 billion company. Without an IPO, we would have been, we could have grown clearly, but would have been forced, let's say, at one point in time to just sell the company.
I see what your chapter 2 target is now, the $1 billion number, and that's there'll be. I'm sure that's going to happen for you guys. I have no doubt that there's such a huge demand clearly for what you're doing. So in 2020, you moved Anghami's headquarters from Lebanon, where you have a beautiful office, by the way. I've been there and I thought it was super cool, very colorful. But your HQ now is in Abu Dhabi Global Market. What was the reason behind that move?
Many reasons, actually. There's not a single one. So one is to get access to a bigger talent pool, because Lebanon, unfortunately, has not been attractive for talent. And as we grow, as we have bigger targets, we're currently mostly Lebanese, which obviously I love my team and everything, but we need more diversity, we need more growth, and we need to attract talent. That cannot happen from Lebanon, unfortunately, for obvious reasons. And at the same time, attract investors. We could not have done an IPO by being based in Beirut in 2021, right? I mean, you could have done it maybe before in 2015 or hopefully in the next 5 years, but not right now. We could not have done that. But then also it's in getting access to R&D, and that has been tremendous. Getting access to R&D is exactly what has been my first thing that got me to go to Abu Dhabi. R&D means investment in something that I have not had the ability to do, and whether it's machine learning, AI, or other stuff. Abu Dhabi is providing us access to a lot of talent, but at the same time to a lot of universities who have done investment in AI as well, machines and all of that we would need to do and to grow. And then, honestly, as we want to establish ourselves as an Arab company, and not because I don't want to be a Lebanese company, but because it's part of growing up. It's part of graduating and moving out from your parents' home. That does not mean you don't respect your parents or you don't have roots, but basically the future in needs us to actually grow and to go to bigger targets. And just happens that Lebanon that cannot meet those requirements right now. I would have loved that if would have worked with in Lebanon, but we tried for a while and we realized that we could not attract investment from Lebanon because we've been trying over the past several years. So we had to grow up.
What are your thoughts on Lebanon? What's happening right now?
Uh, I mean, I love my country and I love the people in my country more than my country. So for me, it's like Lebanon is a people. And this is what I'm gonna always think about and I care about. My thoughts on the politics and that it's something that I'm not gonna dig into politics. I don't think I'm even good with politics. I'm good with stuff that I'm good at, and I know that the people in Lebanon, the talent that we have in Lebanon is an amazing talent, but the potential is lost by simply being here. I mean, it's sad to say that, but we want to inspire people and want to inspire people to think big, to actually think about stuff that they can do, that we can create, that we can, do better and grow. And currently in Lebanon, we're not inspired. We're just forced to, have to think about stuff that don't make sense. And for me, I hope to be able to come, back and to say I want to move back to Lebanon. But for now, what I care about is that keep investing in this country, keep telling the people, making sure that I keep growing people from Lebanon abroad, and keep, if they want to go abroad, and keep helping, the universities, and keep providing all of that support that is very important for us as people coming from the region, keep inspiring people from Lebanon to, have bolder moves and grow and all of that. But for me right now, I need to understand the problems that we have and try to figure out what can we do and how can we contribute back to this country. And I can only look at universities and I can only look at the people graduating and try to see how can I invest with those, how can I actually inspire those and pay it forward to those group of people that enabled us to make Anghami what it is right now. And the rest is like, honestly, I'm clueless and I'm helpless, and I'm not used to being either clueless or helpless.
That's so well said. And I know a lot of people feel the same way. My next question is a little bit less about the business side of things and more of a personal nature. When that NASDAQ screen lit up in Times Square with Anghami's name, I know it was a proud moment for you and the whole team. Was there a part of you that paused and said, okay, I'm going to slow down now and take a moment to really enjoy this, or some time to really enjoy this, something that you've been working towards, as you said, kind of the end of one chapter and the beginning of the next. When you reach that goal, is it just move on to the next goal right away? I mean, if that's the case, it's kind of depressing.
Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be kind of, no, yeah. So the funny bit is like when we announced what we're doing, and it was on Burj Khalifa first. We had a 3-minute video on Burj Khalifa, and then there was the Raushe event, and then it was in Cairo, and then in Jeddah, and then in Times Square. That was the how we planned the announcement. Uh, and for me, it was like obviously a proud moment, obviously a moment that I wanted to share, but at the same time, I did not know how to share and whether I can share it. Clearly, we couldn't celebrate because we're from Lebanon, and Lebanon is going through, I don't know, a depression, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the word. I think going through Lebanese I don't know, Lebanese moments. I don't think in the world there's been a time like that. And it feels very weird, very odd that I'm actually, we're supposed to be celebrating happy. We can't because it's COVID. We can't because people are in a bad shape in Lebanon, in bad place, and we can't even ask people to share our joy, right? So trust me, it's been a mix of feelings that I'm extremely proud. I'm extremely proud to where we are, and I'm more excited of what's happening over the next few months. I can't disclose, but we have still a lot that we're doing, and but yes, it's somehow sad because we did not throw a party. I mean, we deserve to throw a party, I presume. We deserve to. I mean, but it's like just happens like that between COVID and Lebanon. I don't know when are we going to do the party. Probably maybe in June when we're listing in New York. I mean, we're going to maybe have a party in New York, and hopefully in Beirut if things go better. I mean, we just need to be with family and friends and be happy at what we've done. Yeah, we cut a cake, me and Eddie and a few, but it's not exactly what I want. I want to celebrate with everybody in Anghami and want to be proud of the lot of hard work that the team has done and a lot of sacrifices that the team had done over the past year, especially. And we had a Zoom call with the team, the night before announcing. So because we wanted to tell the team what we're doing the next day, because very few knew what were happening, and we had to conserve secrecy till the last minute. So basically, I actually had to tell my team over a laptop screen about the news, and I had to show happy. I mean, be happy and scream and all of that via Zoom. So it's kind of sad, but I hope we're going to be together and we're going to celebrate one day. But for now, we're trying to be as much as we can, and everybody's excited. I know that the week of the announcement, the engineers worked more than double what they usually work. Everybody had adrenaline rushing into them. They were so proud that what they've achieved, and they were so proud to be able to say that we're the first Arab tech company that's listed on NASDAQ, and that is something you can have in a CV and is kind of unique. So for them, they knew that all that hard work got them in a good place, and they're proud. And I'm absolutely proud. I'll have a party. Yeah, one day, I'm sure.
I'm sure you will. Before you go, I wanted to ask you about NFTs, which everyone is talking about now, non-fungible tokens, which are basically digital assets that can't be copied like other digital files, kind of like Bitcoin. You can trade it and exchange it, but you can't reproduce it. I know that in the music industry, a lot of artists are complaining that you talked about this earlier. A lot of artists can't make a living simply making music. I'm not sure what the breakdown is with the music platforms, how much the artist gets. But one of the ways that artists are trying to counter this is by selling NFTs. Grimes, for instance, an artist who also happens to be Elon Musk's girlfriend, so she's very attuned with all the latest digital opportunities. She sold $5.8 million worth of NFTs at the end of February. Are you worried that artists kind of growing in this realm might take away from traditional streaming services? And have you thought about incorporating NFTs on the platform yet, or is this way down the pipeline, not something that's on the radar?
No. Of course, we're very much into tech, and we follow up a lot, and we're looking into NFTs. I know there's a lot that it's more than Grimes that have done that, and one of my favorite bands, Kings of Leon, also will be releasing an album as an NFT. So that is exactly our belief. Music streaming, the way that we're familiar with it right now, which is as I said earlier, which is like kind of the next version of the Walkman is not exactly the end result. There will be way more iterations, and we're definitely going to be part of the next moves on that. Whether we're going to do an NFT or incorporate it in Anghami or not, I think it's too early because it's still on. It's still like very new, and a lot of that will fade out. Some of it will remain, and then that will be the real cycle of innovation, right? I mean, the whole point is if we actually figure out that how we're going to be able to generate more revenue for the artists, because the current streaming revenue share model that has been established by major labels and which we had to, use because this is how we have to be legal. We can't create a different thing. Is not exactly very fair to artists, and there are multiple ways that this can be fixed and adapted. And part of it is NFTs. I honestly think that we will be working across a few ideas in the coming year to be able to provide more revenue for artists, whether is it from a user sharing model, or whether is it from NFT, or whether from it like a club system. There are a lot of ways that we need to generate revenue for artists, and especially post COVID, because COVID proved to be very very hard for artists. Most artists generate revenue from touring, whether from the Middle East by touring, like maybe weddings or festivals or parties or special events, concerts or big events. But the point is, all of that has become zero. And that is the same thing for artists abroad. There has to be better ways to generate revenue, and the current streaming model is not going to be the final model. It's going to be part of the mix, and we believe it's going to remain, but there will be more innovations. We will be part of the next innovation, I'm pretty sure.
Fascinating stuff. What's coming up in the next few months for Anghami? You can give us the scoop here. I promise I won't tell anyone.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want you to tell anyone. So basically, we're a public company. So right now there is a lot that I can't talk about. But what's clear is that we want to make sure that the same way Instagram created, influencers that share videos and pictures, we Anghami create audio influencers that create audio channels that might have a show like the Men's Room, or might have a show like the morning talk show on the radio, or the afternoon drive time, or whatever. We want to contribute to creating much more audio content, and we want to actually move from becoming just a music service to becoming a media service in the region. We believe there's a lot of opportunities, and piracy has been rampant. There's a lot that we need to create, and there's a lot of opportunities. And thankfully now we have a lot of fuel to test, to supercharge, and to grow. And thank you for having me.
Elie Habib, thank you for being here, and best of luck with everything with Chapter 2.
Thanks a lot. Stay tuned.
And please say hello to Eddy for me.
I will. Take care, Nadia. Bye-bye.
That's it. Thanks for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast if you want to be in the loop about all the great things going on in the MENA region and beyond. Take care, everyone.